In this video, I want to talk to you about a concept called technical debt. And this was something that I learned on the job when I was working as a software engineer. It was something I didn't know about before while on the coding bootcamp or watching tutorials. And when I first learned about it, it kind of struck with me. So on the job, we would have planning meetings to plan out the next sprint or the next 2 weeks. And from time to time, there'll be this concept called technical debt. They'll be like, oh yeah, this is a technical debt that we have to deal with. And at first, I was confused about what it meant, but I slowly, I learned what it was. And it's basically like build up that, postponing problems till a later date. And usually you postponed it because it's not urgent. It can be, there's other more urgent tasks to be done, and your app can still function without it. And these technical debt happens a lot of times. The main thing was because you use new technologies, and then when you use new technologies, you realize that new technology is a better solution to what you currently have. So moving forward, you use this new technology, but what your existing code base has probably still has that old technology. So you have technical debt to deal with that, and you should refactor it, upgrade it to the new one. And this is why, at first, when I'll be applying for jobs, I will see they're looking for React and Angular skills, two different front-end technologies. Why would you need both? And I realized that a lot of times they have a legacy code for some in a different framework, and then they use a new framework moving forward. So this was always something addressed. A lot of times the technical debt never gets resolved, and a lot of things is you don't really get the full effect of the new technology unless you fix all this technical debt. So sometimes you do work, but you don't get the full benefit of it until it's done. So when navigating or leading your app idea, your website, your code base, you have to think about technical debt and how to handle it moving forward and understand the trade-offs off with it. And so the best way to handle it is to try to prevent it from in the first place. But it's hard because technology is constantly evolving. So new solutions comes out better than at the times of your current working solutions at the time. So you don't know what's out there. But if you don't, if you realize it, the later you change it, the bigger the technical debt is. So the longer you postpone it, the bigger the issue is, but you deal with it at a later time. And for me, how I apply this, I'm building out freelancing apps, and a lot of times as I do it, I realize that there's a better way to do things after it kind of gets done. So I spend a lot of time refactoring my code to upgrade it, and I do it so it doesn't become a bigger problem later on, and I want to build the best apps I can. And so whenever I realize it, I try to tackle it on as soon as possible before proceeding. And you want to keep that in mind too, whenever you have technical debt, you want to tackle it as soon as possible before it becomes a bigger issue. And this idea of technical debt doesn't just apply to coding. It applies to anything in your life. Credit card debt, it's best to tackle that debt sooner than later, because later, yeah, you can postpone it, but it becomes a bigger problem later on. Dieting, if you keep cheating on your diet, yeah, on the short term, it's fine. You feel good, but in the long term, you have to work twice as hard as before to fix your problems. So whenever you realize you have a debt incurred in your life, in your code, it's best to fix it as soon as possible. And it's always going to happen because things are always evolving, so you're always going to have debt. But keep in mind that, to summarize, technical debt happens, and it's best to tackle it as soon as it occurs so it doesn't compound. So that's all I want to share with you about today. Thank you so much for watching. My name is David. I'm a freelance web developer currently here based out of Las Vegas. So if you need help building out a website, a web app, need help learning how to code, feel free to message me and I can see how I can help. Thank you.